and while I totally respect Indiana's defense, and they have a good defense, and I love Tom Allen and what they do, their defense has played four of the worst offenses in the Big Ten, and and I tweeted, I think I tweeted this out, or I wrote about it somewhere today, that every quarterback that they have faced, save for Noah Vedral, has been benched at some point this season for poor play. And Vedral did get benched against Ohio State, but that was just because the game was over and they wanted Artur Sikowski to get some reps. So
Artie Bucco.
Exactly. So they have played teams that have quarterback issues, and more than that, they have the best running backs they will have faced will come this weekend, unless you want to put Isaiah Pacheco up there, which, all due respect to Isaiah Pacheco, I don't know that he'd be starting at Ohio State or backing up Master Teague. And so they have, while maybe Ohio State hasn't faced anybody as good as Indiana's defense, and Justin Fields, I think I may have asked him that today, and he's like, I don't know. There's certainly no question that Indiana's defense has faced nobody like Ohio State's offense. And I'll tell you what, if these blitzes get picked up, then there's going to be some big plays by the Buckeyes in that passing game. And and really that's what Indiana has to do. They have to gamble. And we talked to Josh Myers a little bit about this on Tuesday, where he said they've seen defenses have to attack them in such a way that it's not sound, it's not fundamentally smart, but you have to do what you have to do. And sometimes it catches Ohio State off guard because you don't practice against unsound defenses, and yet the opponents have to do anything they can to try and stop this. And then the key will just be Ohio State picking up those blitzes, which I'm not sure. I think maybe that favors Master Teague's pass blocking more than Trey Sermon's pass blocking, as we've seen this year. But if they pick up those blitzes, then it kind of like Michigan. What chance does that defense have?
I'm sure the Buckeyes respect Indiana, but if you did a good imitation of Justin Fields there, I don't think he's that concerned about the Indiana defense, like that he's going to be overwhelmed.
No, and he's done well picking up blitzes, avoiding them. How many times have we seen him just a little? He's even like dipping a little bit before the blitz gets there and affecting the blitzer, and then he just moves out of the way, or he'll just spin around. And now they still do get to him, but that's football, and you're not going to be clean the entire game. Indiana is really focused on turnovers, like turning Ohio State over and stealing some possessions. If Ohio State doesn't turn it over, then I don't think Indiana can keep up offensively.
Next time I need a Justin Fields imitation, I'll go to Steve. Justin Fields in the pocket.
Yeah,
Fields does that. He makes that exact sound.
He's uncanny. I mean,
might be able to hear it this Saturday.
We've been watching, and of course, I don't think Ohio State's been the bastion of great quarterback play. I mean, this isn't I don't know. This isn't a Leach thing where you run one quarterback through there and they put up huge numbers. Or I don't know who the quarterback whisperer is. I guess Oklahoma and what they're doing down there with
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley. But his mechanics. I mean, let's go back to Rutgers just for 1 second and just recap. He threaded a ball down the left side to Garrett Wilson on a crossing route in between two defenders who were going like this. And, I mean, if he's a split second early or a split second late with that, it gets intercepted or deflected. Instead, I think Wilson was almost stunned as the two guys crossed in front of him that, oh, my God, I've got this ball. I mean, it was incredible. He threw, and Day, after the game, was marveling. The one touchdown pass was like from the 30-yard line is where they snapped the ball. He threw it from the 40-yard line, and it hit Olave at the pylon to the outside where he was the only guy who could get it. And Day likened it to like a quick, like a 10, 15-yard out pass. And when you reviewed it on tape, it went 40 yards. I mean, that's uncanny. His rollout going the other way to Olave, he had faked the give and came on a naked bootleg back to the right, and he's running. Olave's running. He's running. Olave's running, and you're wondering, is he going to throw this? And he hits it perfectly. And Olave, I don't know if he got 1 or 2 feet in, but he got at least one in, obviously, and made the catch. It was only where he could get it. Nobody else could put a hand on it. And I'm missing one more. Oh, the go to Jamison Williams. There was a coverage break, it seemed to me, on that, and a mix up. And, you don't normally look at Jamison Williams, but I don't even know if he was the designed first read on that play. But, there was nobody within 15 yards of him. He found him in stride, end zone, touchdown. There's 4 NFL plays right there. And I don't know as much about this as Ryan Day, but they've got to be looking at this like, if we've got a guy who's this capable of make these kind of throws and never makes a turnover, 41-1 touchdown to interception ratio in 13 Big Ten games right now, 41-1 for Justin Fields in 2 seasons, and no end in sight. No end in sight. What was he going to do against Maryland? 350-5. Boom. Just mark it. 350-5. Was there anybody who doubted that was what was going to happen had they played that game? So,
Tony, you mentioned it from the first time he stepped on the field at practice. This guy's different.
Well, to be fair, it was him and Matthew Baldwin throwing the ball, but there was
night,
yes,
and day.
it was very different. But that dude has exceeded expectations, and the expectations were high. I remember games last year where just because all we had known was, okay, Dwayne Haskins was the best we had seen in terms of the most accurate Ohio State quarterback ever, and you can't expect Justin Fields to be that. And so we would go into the pregame shows and say, don't be surprised if Fields is maybe 10 for 25, because that's what happened to JT Barrett, that's what happened to Braxton Miller, that's what happened to Cardale. Everybody has struggles, and he never did, and he's always 60, 70, 80% completion percentage. He's now up to 87% this year through 3 games. And that's why I say, if you just give him time, if the pass protection is there, Ohio State can ride him to a national championship with not relative ease, but I don't see anybody being able to keep up or stop it, because the receivers are so good, and Fields is also so good and as accurate as Steve said. Just I've said it before, he's not throwing into windows, he's throwing into dryer vents, just even tiny little places that only the receiver can get to. And as long as they continue to catch the ball, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson don't really drop much. So
just the one I can remember.
Yeah.
So Mini Steve, we want to honor his various comments and questions. So he, being the one who picked Indiana to win 35-17, he mentioned something about there not being a crowd in the stadium, how that will affect the game. So remove the crowd of 1,300, Tony. How is this going to affect the game?
Well, not having the parents there to watch, certainly they'll have to, I don't know, maybe check their phones on the bench to see what their parents are saying about them on Twitter. But Zach Harrison mentioned it today. It's not as much fun, or it's different playing with no crowd, because when you get a big sack or something, the entire stadium goes crazy, and you feed off of that, and it builds this momentum. And now when that happens, you just have to go to the sideline and kind of simulate the reaction, and it's not the same. And Ryan Day has said the same thing, where you could block a punt or something that would normally change the game and change the momentum and change the atmosphere, and now it's a big play, but then it's over and done with, and now another play starts, and really the momentum isn't there, and the energy isn't there, and you can try to create it on your own all you want. It's not the same as having 105,000 people in the stadium, and I think we all know that, and it does impact them, and so there, it's is it a negative? It's a negative at home, and we see the home field advantage has kind of disappeared this year, and it's players will tell you it's strange playing in these games, and coaches can hear everything, and so there's aspects that they like that is better, but Ryan Day would much rather have 100,000 Ohio State fans and 4,000 quiet visiting fans off in their little corner in Ohio Stadium.
There were a couple comments made here in the live chat concerning, did Tom Allen say something concerning Ohio State hype created by media and fans? Does anyone know of anything there?
I didn't see that. I saw him tearing up, saying he doesn't care what anybody else says. Like Indiana can win this game, something to that effect. Steve, I don't know what you saw.
Yeah, I have not paid his comments too much mind this week. He has always seemed to me to be a straight shooter and a guy who respects the game and doesn't get involved in a lot of trash talk. And I think the comments that he's made have been kind of matter of fact. Well, we had the whole country who's looked down on us for decades and whatever and whatever. And we know what we've done here. We know how hard we've worked. We know the hurdles that we've cleared in the as I made reference to earlier, the teams they could never beat, who they've suddenly been able to beat. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, this is a different year, okay? If this was a real year, Michigan and Penn State would both be roughly 500 teams because they would have beaten up on 2 or 3 non-conference teams, and probably that would have in turn catapulted them to a Big Ten win somewhere along the line. I don't know which one it was. I mean, by all rights, Penn State should have beaten Indiana. If the running back does what the Browns running back did on Sunday, which is go out of bounds at the 1-yard line and not kick the ball off to the opposing team, and give them the entree to tie the game and send it to overtime. We're not sitting here talking about a top 10 Indiana team. We're talking about an Indiana team that's, ranked 20th, instead. I mean, let's be honest. They got outgained 2-1 in that game by Penn State. So teams have put up yardage against Indiana. They just haven't beaten Indiana. And that's the thing. I wonder, just based on the defense, and I don't know which Ohio State defense are we going to get. Are we going to get the first half Ohio State defense that's dominated people, or are we going to get the second half Ohio State defense, a mishmash of backup guys that have had to fix in there and can't, close an umbrella? I mean, what are we going to see? Because what I wonder is if we end up in some type of a track meet where the teams just race to the goal line and then the other team races to the other goal line, and you're just trading touchdown for touchdown. Like, there was a Michigan game a couple of years ago that started out that way. It was like 14-all, 21-all, and then Michigan, pulled a hammy or whatever, and Ohio State just kept going, So I don't know. I think we're in for an interesting game, but I think the Ohio State defense is really the wild card in this thing. If they play like they're capable, Indiana may be lucky to get 20 points, and I don't know how Indiana keeps Ohio State from scoring 35 or 40. So that's, I'm still working on a score in my mind, but those are kind of the two wild card things I look at.